What is the most common cause of a low side gauge reading with a low high side reading? A. Too much refrigerant. B. Low on refrigerant. C. Restriction on the high side. Or D. Restriction on the low side. The correct answer is B. The most common cause of a low side gauge reading with a low high side reading is a low refrigerant level. This will usually be accompanied with a compressor cycling rapidly.
Welcome back to Tech Garage, presented by Advanced Auto Parts. Well, it's time to talk orifice tubes and accumulators. That's what's going to go in our Mustang. Now, we'll start out over here on the right. This orifice tube here, remember before we changed from a high pressure to a low pressure? Well, that's exactly what it did. It's a fixed orifice. That refrigerant come in one side, a high pressure, then it went out that low pressure, and it also cooled it really good so it can go into the evaporator, grab that heat, and take it out of the car. Now, if you see this one right here, not so much. All that debris and stuff got in that system. Brian said about that warranty earlier, this is the key right here. If that debris gets flushed around that system, you're gonna ruin your compressor in a heartbeat. Now you may have a system like a TXV, thermostatic expansion valve. Same thing, high pressure to low pressure, going into the evaporator. The only difference is this one's fixed. This one actually meters. And we took one here in Tech Garage and ground it down so you can actually see inside. There's a spring-loaded ball, and then there's a sensing ball here that goes. Well, what the sensing ball does is it's filled up with a little bit of a gas, and it either expands and contracts according to the temperature of the evaporator, and that allows us to open and close and regulate that refrigerant exactly into the evaporator. So if I need more cooling or less cooling, that one can control it. Now, a receiver dryer, on the other hand, he's fixing to put that in. You can have a receiver dryer or an accumulator. This is an accumulator dryer. Why? Because it's in the gas line going to the compressor. Receiver dryer, that's in the liquid line. Our Mustang has an accumulator dryer. Two things inside of this. We cut it open. You have a desiccant inside of there. Now, this desiccant dries the refrigerant because you don't want any moisture in there. That creates acid, eats up the lines, not a good thing. So we're gonna dry the refrigerant right there. And also it's called an accumulator. There's a little hole down here. Well, what's that all about? Well, we don't want any liquid refrigerant going to the compressor because liquid's not compressible and gases are. So if any liquid gets by with the orifice tube system, it's gonna drain out here, then boil, and go back to the compressor at gas. Well, all we gotta do now is get these on the car. Brian, you need to take care of that.
Well, John, we're one step closer. I've got the accumulator dryer just about out. Now, there's only one strap and one bolt that holds it in tight against the firewall. I've got that liberally loose because I can tell you we need the space down here to work. I also have a rag down here covering all O-rings and lines to make sure I don't get any debris in there as I pull this up and out. So I'm going to take my time, gently remove the old accumulator dryer. And you know, John was talking about that fluid down in the bottom. Well, I can feel that there's some debris down in the bottom of this thing, so it's clearly in need of replacement. Now, we've taken the low pressure switch from the old one and reinstalled it on our new accumulator dryer as well. This will slide right back down into the same hole, and we're going to reconnect our lines. The thing I like about this particular accumulator dryer, new O-rings come with it. So I don't have to worry about transferring the old ones in. It only goes one way. Take your time here. You don't want to do any damage on any of the lines or the O-rings. All right, push until you get a good click. And again, a really powerful tool in the process of these quick disconnect tools when you're removing those original lines. You gotta have them. Now, these only go back in one way. I'll reconnect the low pressure switch wiring harness. Same thing, you wanna hear a click here. There you go. And now, back to the pressure line. Let's check the O-rings one more time. We're in great shape here. Take your time, get a good fit, and listen for the click. All right, we're in. So let's move up to the orifice tube now. Up here at the top of the condenser that John talked about, the orifice tube falls right in line. Not only does it change from high pressure to low pressure, it's actually an inline filter as John described. So be gentle in pulling your old orifice tube out and be more gentle installing the new one. So we got this guy out. You got to clear a shoulder here. Take your time. We'll install the new one, we'll reconnect the line to the top of the condenser, and we're almost home. Stay with us on Tech Garage. We're gonna make this system really cool when we come back.
Here's a Tech Garage pop quiz. Which two system components change AC pressures? A. Orifice tube and compressor. B. Condenser and evaporator, C. Receiver, dryer, and accumulator, or D. Accumulator and condenser? The correct answer is A. Compressor changes the refrigerant from low pressure to high pressure, and the orifice tube changes it from high pressure to low pressure.